there. I'm back. I'm back. I just want to refocus this camera here. So, with that last recording, I really wanted to adjust some cameras and try to get it working a little better. I don't know if that's working better or just trying to get it more focused in. I just have to see if my friend is on so she could definitely see if there's any feedback with the camera. So I'm sorry, this is still kind of like a test run. And I just need to see how everything's working on this thing. So thank you for letting me come back. I'm Jude. I'm Ghost Medium Jude. Boy, I'm telling you these things in this house. I'm Ghost Medium Jude, and I run a paranormal ghost tour in Milford called Paranormal Milford. And see, my camera keeps doing weird things, but I just want to show you. So I like to do some of the tri-state on this side, tri-state hauntings, PA, New Jersey, and New York. So I'm trying not to move too much because the camera is kind of focusing in and out. So, yeah. So I'm going to read you the story. I did the other one. I put it into like a private right now because, not again. I just want to, kind of fix everything on this. So this is new. So Janine is saying that it sounds good. There's no feedback, right? Nothing's going on like that. So I'm not on the Mac camera. I'm on my, like it's like the extern camera, like, another one that you buy. So, but oh good, I'm glad. And it doesn't sound like an ocean, and it doesn't sound like, that's awesome. How does the mic sound? Hope the mic sounds good too. So nice and clear. That's awesome. Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, like I said, Ghost Medium Jude. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on TikTok. I run Paranormal Milford, ghost tours, and I have another channel also on Facebook. It's called GMJ Paranormal and Bigfoot Society, and I know I have a lot of like videos on there, and I do have a lot of haunted videos on there too as well. And thank you, Janine. So I actually do only the first 13 colonies, like 13 original colonies. So from 1 to 13, and sometimes I go up to Vermont, and sometimes I go down to Florida because it's on the East Coast, but they're not with the first original 13 colonies. But there's a lot of good ghost stories there. So St. Augustine in Florida, really, really good. So anyways, I'm going to take this paper out again. Shall I? Okay. Anyways, so I found this article today in the Pennsylvania Independent. Okay, I had it with all the ghost stories I collect. So for some reason I thought it was New York, and but it's Pennsylvania. I knew it was Pennsylvania. Duh. But anyways, Bristol, Pennsylvania. So this is the King George Inn, number 2 in Bristol, Pennsylvania. It's where George Washington crossed the Delaware. He did that. Look it up. I'm not lying. He did it. And so yeah, he crossed the Delaware in December of 1776. So that must have been cold. Imagine, wait a minute. Imagine crossing the river. Has anybody been to the Delaware? Oh my God, I can't believe the Delaware River. And back then, they didn't have cell phones. Let me tell you that. They didn't have anything. You know, you got on a boat, a rickety boat, going across the river, and it's all full of ice. Oh my God, that's haunted enough. I'm sorry, that's more spooky than a spooky house. Let me tell you that. And to get over the river and then, you know, do what they had to do. But so he lands over there, and this is reporting that this inn is haunted, and there's a lot of tales about it, and it's been there for 343 years. And it was a ferry house in 1681. So yeah, if you guys go down to Bristol, it's right across from New Jersey, across the river, that is. So you might have to swim, you know, take a boat, you know, whatever you do. Or you could, you know, maybe take the bridge, whatever. But yeah, you can go to this really cool, you know, inn, and they're saying that a bottle was thrown, and you could hear babies crying upstairs on the 3rd and 4th floor. You could hear tapping. Somebody got tapped in the head. You know, that kind of reminds me when I went to Gettysburg and I went to this inn and my chair was pulled back. I mean, you know what? Hauntings, they're always happening everywhere, I think. I think it's, you know what? The way I look at it, it's unresolved energy. It's just energy, whatever, you know, or it could be a spirit. You know what? As long as it doesn't harm you, you know, I think that, you know, they're allowed to linger about, you know. So on the last video, I made it private because there was a lot of feedback, and I messed up a lot. I'm not perfect. But I do like to tell haunted stories. So I do have another story here. And I'm going to put this one over here for a minute. Don't mind the mess in the back. The background is a mess. It's not, you know, just don't look at it. So I don't know if you've been to Milford, Pennsylvania, but it's a little town, you know, across the river from New Jersey, but Montague, up northern New Jersey. And it's actually connected, Pennsylvania, it's the end of Pennsylvania, so it's connected by New York and New Jersey. So you could, in Milford, you could walk over the bridge and be in New Jersey. I mean, it doesn't take that long. I've done it a few times. And, you know, towards New York, you can, from Matamoras, Pennsylvania, you can cross right over the Matamoras Bridge and go right into Port Jervis. And you can go and see, you know, you can step on a stone over there in Port Jervis and, you know, be in 3 states at once. That's the corner of it. But yeah, so Milford's pretty haunted. But if you ever go to Milford, you ever go to the Columns, they have the Lincoln flag there. Yes, they have the Lincoln flag. And it's actually Abraham Lincoln's blood from when he was assassinated. And it's a big story. I explained it on my live stream so many times. But yeah, if you go there, you can see the Lincoln flag and, you know, kind of discuss that. Now look at my camera. Can you see that it's out of focus again? Look at it. When I mentioned Lincoln's flag. Let me see if we can get to refocus. Oh, there we go. Could have been spirit there when I said Lincoln. But anyways, yeah, if you go to the Historical Society over there, it's actually the Columns. They have the flag there. They have a lot of paranormal stuff going on, and I do have a actual video that I had gotten going there. You can go there. They're opened, you know, at certain times of the week, and you just pay a little fee to get in. But it's really interesting. It's really good to have, you know, a good museum to, you know, hold all these haunted artifacts. They don't know they're haunted. I do. I do. But anyways, no, it's a really good museum. So if you can go down and check that out, it's called the Milford Columns. It's a columns museum. And I had a situation there in 2007. So 2007 is when I started my haunted tours, and I started really participating in, paranormal activity, because like all my life I've had paranormal activity. So, I really wanted to figure out, what's it all about. I got the equipment. I still have the equipment. I have my booth shed outside, and you know what? All that stuff stays outside, because I know you guys know, if you have a haunted doll, if you have anything haunted, it's definitely have to stay outside. You don't want to bring it into your living quarters, because you know what? It tends to turn on. And yeah, no, that stays outside, because I have enough trouble sleeping, so I really need to sleep at night. But so there was this lady, Madame Pierce. She was married to her name was Juliet Pierce, and she was the wife of a philosopher. Yeah, Milford it's really a famous philosopher. It had so many presidents stay there, come there. Kennedy, did the forestry. Gave a speech and dedicated the forestry. Right in Milford. So there's a lot of historic activity in Milford. And so Madame Pierce, she was Juliet Pierce. She was a tarot card reader back in the day. I mean, back in the 1800s. So, that back then, it was kind of like you wouldn't do that stuff, but it was that turn of the century that they were into, like, any kind of spiritualism. So she actually used to do card readings in the town of Milford for parties, because they had money, and the thing is that she actually has some of her clothes and items in the museum. So going back to my story, 2007. So I was able to go there and do a little ghost hunt by the director. She allowed me to go in, which I really appreciated. And I recorded it on my other laptops. I have a few laptops. And the stuff that happened, because she has her own room on the second floor up there. So she has like her dress, maybe some of her stuff like furniture or knickknacks or whatever. And she decided to communicate with me and a couple of the other women that were there as well. And, we were asking her a lot of questions, and it was a intelligent haunt, communication, and it wasn't a residual, because she was actually, corresponding with what I was saying. So, yeah, we did our thing, and, I was going to go and edit my video, and I went back home, and then I had one of my daughters say, Mom, there's a woman outside that, is like calling for help. And I was like, what? Then I went downstairs. I noticed my computer was open and open, and I was hearing her voice coming out of the computer. So we ran upstairs in my haunted house, because, of course, everywhere I lived in the haunted house. And yeah, everything was thrown around downstairs, and once in the morning time, I went back down, and I closed everything up. I mean, the couch was flipped, chairs were flipped around, and what I heard from the laptop was, and my daughter heard it too, was, can you help me? Can you please help me? And so, I shut that laptop. I never used it again. I didn't know, if it was kind of like, more dynamic or whatever. So I didn't really want to deal with that. But I did contact TAPS about it, and they did call me back. They wanted to come out and check it out, but it was going to be 10 years or whatever. And I did have a shop, and they did come. He sent out like people who feel the situation or whatever like that, and I did talk to them. They're very nice. But I don't even know if they ever came. They might have. I don't know. I didn't really follow through with that because I started getting really busy with my own stuff. So I'm going to show you a picture of Madame Pierce. So that's her here. Got to focus her in. And she haunts her room. She haunts her room up there in the columns. She does. Because this last spring, I went there and I did a recording, and I brought my meter, my K2 meter, and I sat in the room. And she's got a beautiful dress, from the 1800s up there, gorgeous. And I asked if I could. I asked, the director and the manager, if I could go, and then, of course, so I sat up there, and I did a K2 meter, and let me tell you, the responses that I even got knocks. My K2 meter was like, giving me yes and no, which I'm going to correspond this one with this live stream, the recording of that with this live stream, so you understand what I'm talking about. So every time I do a live stream, I'm going to say, hey, this is my next video, so take a look at it, and maybe let's talk about it. Yeah, I believe she lived there too. Yeah, Janine, that's true. So yeah, if you're ever around Milford, Pennsylvania, go check that out. And I've been doing some different places in Pike County as well. And I'm going to go over to Wayne County too and do a haunted live stream over in Homesdale, because I know that's kind of like, a spooky thing. So a little bit about Dingman's Ferry. There was a town there, but they took the whole town out. So if you go into a regular town like Milford, there was a regular town down by the bridge, by the light, but they took it out for Tox Island, and they were going to flood the whole area, but they winded up not doing it. So they took out the whole town, and you can walk, on the main street where the town was. And I've done that so many times, and by the cemetery, and, you do get a lot of creepy, like EVPs and stuff like that down there too. So I do have a video about that one too. So, but yeah, so, if you can check that out, definitely check out this Madame Pierce. Go to the Milford Historical Society and go to the second floor. It's beautiful. And you're allowed to record, and you're allowed to, take pictures, as long as you're respectful. And we also have the Dingman's Historical Society too. They have it right on 739, and they do some, historical stuff as well. So if you're in the area, because I'm in Pike County, just try to, get in there and see some really great stuff. So yeah, so you know what? I've always, every time I go to Milford, I would drive past that, columns, and I would drive past our house. So down on the 3 lane is actually their home too. So, and they're actually buried in Milford Cemetery. And Charles was really good friends with Pinchot. He was a really big forestry guy too. So yeah, and his grave is actually county corner to Pinchot's big mausoleum, and then they has a hole in it, and you can see, I think the focus was on Pinchot's mausoleum. So that was that was kind of weird, but it was cool to see. It's kind of spooky as well there. So when I go up to the Milford Cemetery, I do a little bit of the live streams at the mausoleum for Pinchot, and I go up to I call it the castle, but it's Gray Towers. So the beautiful Gray Towers there, and I've done some paranormal videos there as well. But yeah, I'm glad somebody came back. Thank you, Janine, so much. I appreciate that. I'm glad that the video is looking good, and I'm glad that the mic is sounding really, really good. And I'm going to try to be doing these more. This is fun. I miss doing this. I miss being out on the live streams. I've done a lot of live streams, for Facebook. And I don't know if anybody's out there. Facebook is saying that you have to get your live streams off or they're going to be deleting them. So I don't know if that's true or if that's a meta thing. If anybody knows, please, please let me know about it. And yeah. So God bless you guys, and I'm going to see you guys again soon. Okay. And have a wonderful night. All right. Talk to you soon. Okay. Bye-bye.